friend. Take it, you don't, you'll die.
Tonight on Moving Pictures, the art of storyboard, we expose Clint Eastwood's wrists. From Hollywood to Timbuktu, on location in the Great Sahara. And we examine Schindler's List, as Steven Spielberg succeeded in the unfilmable. Good evening. We begin with a tribute to some unsung cinematic heroes, the shadowy breed of artists known as wrists, who have helped to conceive some of the most exciting sequences in the movie. Wrists draw storyboards, which are like a comic strip version of a film script. These sketches can influence the choice of locations, design, and camera angle, so the most imaginative storyboarders virtually become co-directors. Alfred Hitchcock, once a wrist himself, famously relied on artist storyboards, notably Saul Bass's blow-by-blow breakdown of the shower scene in Psycho. Saul Bass finally received credit for his contribution to Hitchcock's pitch-black comedy, but as a rule, the storyboard artist is the skewer of all the contributors to the movie-making process. Moving Pictures decided to redress the balance. We go behind the scenes of 3 action sequences and throw a spotlight on how an uncredited wrist can really elevate a movie's thrill.
What a storyboard artist should do is find where the impetus is on the picture and unify the vision and start giving everybody something to work from. It's his job to really ferret out the idea from the director and make it as clear as you can according to his needs so that everybody else can see it.
Nobody talks about these guys, you know. It's and all, you know, these perceptions are always, oh, they are just these people. They just sit there and draw what other people tell them to do. Important. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. They're very, very important.
As soon as everybody gets on a picture, they get a script. When they read the script, I mean, there's 90 different pictures being made until you start narrowing it down, you know. And I think one of the major roles of a storyboard artist is to do away with all the get it right online.
Carl was especially very helpful in the rooftop chase because I asked him to go, you know, over rooftops, all kinds of rooftops, and make selections and make drawings, put it all together.
I did the drawings like if I were directing the picture. This is a top they had them run across really fast, and we would put that at the beginning of the sequence. And this was a good rooftop for him to be questioning whether he could continue, and so I drew it in this particular rooftop, and I helped piece it together like that.
It looks like one roof to the next and to the next is if they all would be there in place. Of course, in the reality, you find a great roof there, then you find another great roof like 10 miles away. So the storyboard artist, again, helps very much to put it on paper so I can see that they all blend together, so you're meaning it's all done there in one continuous kind of location.
I'm afraid of heights, and I felt that was a big advantage in doing these scenes because I wanted to include any kind of fear I had of heights into these drawings. You could have chased them down as easily, but in the height, it's more dangerous. It's more, it's heightened reality, kind of, you know, it's operatic, maybe.
Take my hand. Take it, you don't, you'll die.
We had a special problem when Clint Eastwood is hanging there and Malkovich is holding his hand because the angles on Clint Eastwood, we were shooting in Washington, beginning of the shoot, in the first days. The reverse angles, all the reverse angles on Malkovich, we were shooting 3 months later in Los Angeles.
You shoot me, Frank, after I saved your life?
Carl's thing is now to make all these drawings so that for the construction, for the designer to build, it all goes perfectly together between Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles. He did that, and we saw it looked like they could build it We could shoot it and nobody will know, and nobody could tell now that it was in different locations, 3 months apart.
Frank! I got him, Frank! Al! Al!
I said to Carl, come up with ideas, throw things in, think what you think is exciting, right? And that's when you see sometimes the storyboards, and later on, it's kind of different because you don't use everything, of course, you know, but it's a very great inspiration. You take this, oh, that's great. Never would have thought of a shot like this, but Carl came up with that, and it's great, so let's use it. You know, that, like that, collaboration.
So let's have a look at the opening shot.
After that, we come to the binoculars coming across. You see the boat in the horizon up on the flying bridge with her there.
Sometimes I say to David Negron, the storyboard artist that I've worked with 3 pictures, I say, well, I'm looking for a shot that does this, and then I want that, and David will go off. He'll bring back some drawings, and I'll say, but I said, oh, gee, well, I hadn't thought about that. Oh, right, of course. It happened yesterday. We were drawing the openings of Clear and Present Danger, and he drew this shot, and I said, I didn't tell you to do that. That's great. Well, actually, why don't we open the whole thing? We'll open the film with that shot. That's great.
This picture, Clear and Present Danger, is just a huge visual effects, special effects, action picture, and the amount of storyboard both of us do together is just enormous. We've taken scenes and we've broken it down 3 or 4 times just to get a good visual look of the film.
About halfway through the film, you'll see a sequence where Harrison Ford, playing Jack Ryan, head of the FBI, and the American ambassador to Colombia are attacked in a street of Bogota. Now, this sequence was entirely composed between myself and the storyboard artist.
We actually found a location in Mexico, so I flew out with Philip, and we were down on the streets in the location, redesigning, replanning out the action where it was going to take place.
And that's where Jacobs would be shot. However,
doing some rough sketches there on location with Philip so that he could actually make some changes as we went along.
We went through about 5 different scenarios, drawing the thing to see whether it looked realistic and whether it looked dramatic, and how best to use the Harrison Ford character, how to place him in the greatest jeopardy. And the scriptwriter was then handed the storyboards, and he wrote the script to follow. It's particularly important for action sequences, sequences where you're going to marshal resources that are only available to you once, where you're going to use jet planes, tanks, where you're going to blow up buildings and things like that. You've really got to place your camera in the right position, and that may entail it in 10 different positions in pre-production with your storyboard artist showing you what it would look like.
One of the most important sequences that we had to do in the line of fire was at Bonaventure, and it was the elevator sequence. And it was the big fight in the elevator.
We were very often here, up and down with that elevator, to work out just angles and say, this we can do here. Such a complicated scene. You can spend millions and millions of dollars, or you can really do it as economic as possible. The big problem there was to get all these transitions, real scenery here, and the pieces we built on stage. For example, Malkovich is carrying Clint Eastwood into the elevator where all the mayhem is here, the whole chaos, and with a gun at his head. And we shot that here. From then on, the next shot, we are already on stage. while we see the elevator going up, because you just cannot do a whole sequence like that in that small elevator. It just doesn't work. What we did is we built the elevator as to have a bit more space. On the other hand, this is a very realistic film, so it should be seamless. Nobody should see. So Carl has to help me here to find angles that this transition goes very naturally. You don't feel any change.
Shoot, damn it.
They can't see inside. If they fire, you'll be hit.
I want you to thank me first, Frank.
Shut up and shoot.
All right, Frank.
All right, Frank.
Shooters, stand by to fire. Command.
Sleep well, my friend.
Just one thing. Aim high.
What?
Aim high.
Now.
Fire.
You bastard!
With Carl's help, you narrow it more and more down to the most economic and at the same time kind of visually interesting thing.
Take my hand. If you don't, you'll die.
At the end of the scene, John Malkovich falls from the elevator. He falls toward the that little glass roof on the 5th floor of the Bonaventure and crashes and dies. And so what we needed to do was to get drawings to give to the effects houses of that fall.
And then everybody can say, aha, they want to do it from this angle and that and this. And they can work out their techniques, how to make it special effect work. It's written in his play. Nobody really knows what does it mean? How does it really look like? What do these guys, what do they have in mind? It all comes to life first. The first movie out there is really on storyboards.